Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Aries. So, Aries, I'm doing your reading as always with my own deck. So, the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, Aries, I feel like there is some sort of angst, pursue, or it's like desperately wanting to know something. Actually, that was the first phrase that I heard with your very first card that I'm going to show you in a second. But I feel like there is this uncomfortable feeling that you want a particular answer for maybe a specific question, which feels to me like it is related to belief, to like things that you trust as truths, but there is this shift that is happening inside your mind, I want to say, inside perhaps your consciousness, because I feel like maybe you have traveling down a path of self-discovery, of reading about alternative therapy, or esoteric kind of knowledge, pursuing that type of otherworldly type of information. And I feel like you have been I feel like there's been like this leakage, right? That came up in the Aquarius reading, or was it the Pisces reading? I feel like it was the Aquarius perhaps, or even the Capricorn. It was one of the previous ones that I did. And I feel like this is happening here also. It's almost like the more you try to find that answer, the more you read, the more you go on this very deep, and I want to say thirsty research, right? I feel like it feels like it's slipping through your fingers. I'm going to show you the cards because I feel like it's going to be easier perhaps. So this card is beginning your reading, and this is you coming as the Page of Swords today, Aries. And as I said, what I heard with this card was desperately wanting to know something. So there is something that is, at the forefront of your mind that does not leave your mind, right? It's almost like this reoccurring thought that is going on and on and on and on, right? As a cycle with the Three of Swords that is starting to cause you pain, right? It's like trying to find, looking for this answer, reading in books, going for different sources of information, and feeling like you are being haunted by this question that you cannot find the answer for, right? And so what you want, really, I want to say, right? And maybe this is the detail of your reading that might give you some light, right? In order to find this relief, right? What you want from this search, that perhaps it's almost like you it's not like it's becoming like this paranoid uh thing, right? Or like it's like there is something that you are maybe obsessing about. I feel like there's something that you're not letting go, right? And that is the reason why it's causing pain, right? It's like instead of bringing you some sort of relief, is bringing you pain and frustration and some sort of discomfort, because it's almost like you're starting to doubt your intelligence, maybe your just uh, maybe the righteousness of this research, of this pursuit, right? Because I feel like, as I said, the more you try to go to different sources, I want to say, with this Magician, which is actually reversed, right? And it's interesting because I never used to read reversals, but for some reason the imagery when they come upside down, it feels like they have some sort of different meaning, right? And here, you see here, there are the 3 swords, right? And here at the bottom of the hat of the magician, there are 3 stars. So it's almost like you are close to the answer, but not close enough, right? Or at least this is your feeling, Aries. Like you are, it's like you are always like, you know, just 1 feet away from it, but never able to really touch it. So when it came upside down, right, this magician was talking about like something that is, you know, falling out the drain, or it's like it's slipping through your hands, right? It's like it's not, it's like it's not in your scope, it's not it's like you cannot reach it, right? It's almost like just beyond your reach, right? And so it feels like it's almost like there is this bottomless, I want to say, hat, right? But for some reason, it's like you feel like there is this cap that is, it's like you cannot go further than that, right? It's like I'm seeing you putting your hand inside the hat of the magician and trying to reach for these stars that are just out of reach, right? And it feels like the more you go deeper down into this woo type of understanding or source of information, right? This magician is bringing everything that is not like the traditional type of knowledge or even the traditional type of answer, right? So I feel like the more you try to stay here, right? Digging deeper, I want to say, right? It feels like you're always going to, it's like what you want is to find relief. What the first source that you're trying to find relief from is the magician, right? Perhaps we are talking about, you know, the secret, right? How to manifest, right? It's like it's just there, right? But for some reason you are just out of reach, right? And so maybe you're not seeing clearly something that is just there at the corner of your eye, or, you know, just, you know, it was in your hands, right? It's like you're touching it, but barely, right? Because truth is there, right? With the Ace of Swords. So I feel like your search, your pursuit is not something that is, you know, if you are doubting the righteousness, the reason why you started looking for this answer, right? Why this question is, you know, going in your mind, you know, round and round and round again. It's like it feels like it's never ending, right? It feels like it's starting to, it's like not finding the answer, it's becoming painful to you, right? But there is truth in this pursuit, I want to say, right? Because of the Ace of Swords. But as I said, it's just out of reach, and it's like you insisting in trying to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. It's only going to bring more frustration, because I feel like it's like the real message of the magician, which feels like, you know, it's almost like you feel like this hat has this cap that is not allowing you to touch the stars that are just beyond it, right? But the real truth about this magician is that this hat is bottomless. It's like if you just continued further, it's like you could go beyond the magician, right? It's almost like the magician is the veil, but you have to go through the veil, right? It's like the answer is not the magician. The answer is not the source of information or the therapy or the tool, right? It's the tool is just the path to the stars, to the answer. I hope that makes sense, Aries, because it's almost like maybe you feel like the pain is growing to a point that maybe you're questioning yourself of the of like why you are searching in the first place, right? Or maybe if you should think of give up, right? Of giving up, you know, this pursuit that perhaps you feel like it's almost like you're reaching a dead end, but it's not, right? It's like you have to just go further, right? There is truth at the bottom of this hat. And I feel like it's like you're going on a different direction, right? Because if we saw the Three of Swords with this upside down magician, right? It's like you were very, very close, I want to say, Aries, very close, right? But maybe because this was becoming a cycle that was very frustrating to you, perhaps you are now turning to find truth from a more traditional source, right? With the Hierophant coming next. So I feel like the comparison here is the source of information, right? Maybe this was a source of information that was alternative, that was non-traditional, that was, you know, some sort of healer, some sort of something that is not necessarily certified, right? Or it's like you would not receive a type of, you know, a certificate or a diploma or a stamp, right? It's like this, it's like it's like you have to trust, like the intrinsic factor when you reach for this type of source of information is that you have to trust its results or its own instruments, right? Or its own dynamic, its own mechanism, right? It's like this is beyond, it's because this is reaching further, right? So it's like there is nothing that can grant you that you are going to find what you're looking for. But when this starts causing you some sort of discomfort and frustration, I want to say, it's like maybe you are so desperate to find the bottom truth, right? It's like you want to find the answer no matter what, or no matter where you're going to find it. It's like you are just desperate to finding this answer. And so if it requires for you to go to a more traditional method, to a more, you know, maybe we are talking about like, you know, an alternative healer, and this is, you know, a traditional doctor, right? So it's that type of resolution, I want to say, right? Because if this was just out of reach, or, you know, you have researched enough that you found maybe no answers, or maybe no it's like no ways that you were, it's like you weren't finding the relief that you wanted, right? And so in order to find it once and for all, I want to say, Aries, it's like you're going to the traditional path. It's like you're back to somebody that you know that has like this, it's like they are, it's almost like it's coming through like maybe, you know, church, like a religious priest, like somebody that is a, you know, it's like it's the more traditional person, or it's like not person, source, right? Source of relief, right? Whether this is like medical or spiritual or emotional, right? It's like maybe you're looking for psychologist, or I don't know. It's like it's just coming through as somebody that has the diploma, has the stamp, has, you know, the signature. It's like they have the traditional methods, right? But that's the thing also. It feels like you are looking and looking and looking, and you're trying everything, right? It's like you went to the alternative possibility, and it was still lingering on. It's like the pain was still growing because you weren't finding exactly the piece of truth that resonated with you, perhaps, right? And so when you went to this one in search of this clear answer, right, it's almost like here the magician was giving you so many different types of things or answers, or it's like that it was just confusing you or making you doubt yourself, or it's like it was not giving you clarity, right? And all that you wanted besides this relief was this clarity of mind. And so when you went to this hierophant, it's almost like you were certain that they would give you, like, when you go seeking some answer with a priest, right, in the traditional Catholic Church, right? It's like they're going to give you a prayer, so to redeem you from your sins or whatever, right? It's like I don't know much, but traditionally that would be like the solution, right? But the way that you feel afterwards is in this hangman position, right? So it's like this major, yes, relief, because it feels like you have been suspended from the pain, but I want to say it's almost like this cover up, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's almost like this temporary suspension, right? It's almost like it's like maybe you are, literally hanging yourself from realizing that what the magician was doing was make you confront what was causing your pain, even if the pain was the frustration for, from not finding the one answer, right? It's like here you had to go deeper. Remember, it's like you had to go through the veil, and maybe the veil was including going through the pain, right? That was, the path to finding this one answer, but you were so close. And I feel like it's like you retreated in a sense, right? Looking for a clear, more direct or more straightforward type of resolution that maybe a traditional healer, doctor, priest could give you, right? And at first, it feels like there is this apparent relief, I want to say, right? But it's giving me this sensation that it's only temporary, right? It's only temporary because I feel like this is you. It's almost like, hanging your problems, to the other side of the closet so that you can just rest for a bit, right? It's almost like the problems are still there, the pain is still there. It's like what they have given you as an answer, it may be clear and very straightforward, but perhaps it's just giving you this very shallow relief, right? And maybe that was exactly what you were searching for, because maybe that was why you were so desperately trying to find an answer, right? And so it's like wanting to put away this desperation, this frustration, this agony, the angst, right? And so this temporary solution feels like what you were looking for, right? But there is something here ending your reading, Aries, with another 3, which is the 3 of Wands. I feel like it's a mirage, okay? This is how it's coming through. Because I feel like when you went seeking out an answer from this magician, right? Or from multiple alternative sources of solution, information, healing, whatever it is, I feel like what you found or what you were going through was so disturbing and so uncomfortable that you didn't want to stay there, right? It's like you went down this rabbit hole, or it's like you allowed to go as further as you could go, right? But it was just beginning to give you this sensation that you were never going to find the answer. So that's the reason why, after going down that path, it's like you realize that for a quick answer, maybe a more traditional path would give you this answer, right? And so here with this hangman being followed by the Three of Wands, I feel like, because what the image that this Three of Wands is bringing, it's like, you know, that traditional image of, you know, those boats coming from the horizon, right, onto shore. But it's almost like there is this hanging image, right? Uh it's almost like this is a mirage. I don't know how to express that. It's almost like because you have put aside your angst, your problems, your doubts, right? It's almost like what you are going to see, it's not necessarily the truth, right? It's not necessarily something that is something that is actually coming, right? It's only like this mirage, right? It's only this perhaps expectation, right? It's like because you put aside what was really causing you, it's almost like you had to go through the pain to find the truth, right? It's like, yes, because like the Ace of Swords is contained here in the Three of Swords. It's like you cannot find the Ace of Swords here in the Three of Wands, right? So it's interesting how it's like maybe this quick solution that the Hierophant is giving you is providing the relief that you were looking for, right? But it's based on false expectations, or is based on something that is, it's not going to be sustainable, right? It's like just a temporary relief, right? So to be honest, I'm not seeing much more than this. I feel like, you know, if you have looked for these two attempts to find relief, to find an answer, to find a solution, I feel like, you know, you have listened to either like your instinct, your curiosity, right? But maybe if you are trying to go with reason, right? Go with logic. And that's why you were, you know, going for the Hierophant and thinking that they gave you the solution, right? Because it's like they are maybe, you know, stimulating a side of you that was not there, right? It's like with the Magician, you could only see pain, you could only see deceit, right? But the truth was in the middle of this package and you weren't finding it, or at least you weren't reaching it, right? It was too confusing. And when this Hierophant releases you in a sense, or suspends the pain, right, momentarily, giving you new hope or new expectation, it's more coming through as expectation. I feel like you do feel the relief, but I don't know if this is sustainable, okay, Aries? So maybe you will know better than what I'm seeing here. But I'm going to continue to pull cards to see where this is leading. And also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes. So if you want to join me in the extended reading, I'll be happy to see you. And you can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.